Howdy, 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 folks. It's like Bill Monroe used to say. Bill Monroe, the father of bluegrass. I met him at a concert. Great guy. Well, I just got in from bringing in my car battery. I'm going to do a repair cycle on it. It was dead when I got home after being in ECMC for a week. And the sun has not been enough to fully charge it. It got good charges over the last 3 days from the solar panel, but not enough to fully charge it. So I figured I'd bring it in and do a repair cycle with my NOCO battery tester and repairer. And figured overnight I'll do a repair cycle or two on it, and I'll charge it up fully. Put it back in the car. I could have it probably back in the car tomorrow if I need to go shopping. Although I am a little afraid of driving it right now because while the police while the police visited me, they took video or pictures of my car. And it's like, I don't know. Maybe I'm paranoid, but you know, they're probably not too happy with me. You think so? You think maybe they're not too happy about me? You know, I can't help it. I was a design engineer. I'm being picked on. The only recourse I have is this posting on social media. You know, my legal representation, if I even still have any, doesn't like it. But why might I do sit around and be harassed by the police? I'll always be worried about running into a certain person in the building. It's like I went down the elevator today, had my camera, my phone in my hand. So get down to the first floor. A woman is getting in the building and is waiting there to get in the elevator. And then she makes a comment to herself as usual. I don't mind that. I kind of, at first I kind of get mad at comments, but I can't help it. I get over it, especially with that person. I definitely get over it. I was gonna write some nasty comments about her comment, and then I changed it. So, I guess I can't get mad at the person anymore. But I had my phone in my hand, and really I'm tempted to record every time I leave my apartment because I'm afraid I'm gonna run into the person that started all this. I'm not gonna mention where they live, but that's what I'm afraid of. They're always with a certain person, so they can have it back up. But the person that they're with appears to be pretty honest. They've been honest about most stuff, and I think the things that they've said that haven't been truthful, it's not that person's fault. It's they're being fed information from the other person. So I think that's what the issue is. I give them 100% credit for trying. Their only issue is they listen to a certain person that feeds them bad information, and that's what's been happening in this building for a while since this person that lied to get me arrested has moved in. He just constantly feeds people bad information about other people to get people in trouble, just like he fed the cop bad information about me, trying to get me in trouble. That's what he does. He's a manipulator. I don't know why you would call that. I'd like to call it criminally insane. Uh, I don't know what else to call it. I'm not a psychiatrist. I wish I could talk to a psychiatrist about it. People that do that, because I'm interested in learning. Since I went back to school, I always want to learn stuff. Learning seems to be the most powerful thing. But about money, hardly does any good because you don't have any legal representation. Really, well, in my case, I've been lucky to have some, but yeah, like I said, you know, I tried to be an intellect and use my brain. Never had to use my body for anything like that. Never had to defend myself. Never went after anybody. You know, I mean, I guess I have a temper inside, but I've never done anything. And no, I never got in a fight. Never was never arrested before. So I consider it arrest. When you take them, put it in jail, and charge with a violation, I consider that arrest. Technically, I don't know for sure if it is, but that's what I refer to it as. You know, man, something like that's never happened to me before. So I go all out. I can't help it. You know, that's the way I am. That's the only way I got through school. You know, I went. I was homeless, living in a truck, an 1878 GMC Jimmy. Uh, I finally got on Belmont and got an apartment at Oakwood Associates on Harlem Road in West Seneca. Went back to school for an associate's degree, and then I found out they had engineering level classes. So after getting up to high school level, I was in associate's classes, and then I made a big switch to engineering classes, even though someone in my family told me, "Oh, don't do it. You'll never make it." It's like, uh, well, I stopped listening to people after being homeless and really having hardly any help. Those are the days where you stop listening to other people. You gotta start thinking on your own, which is what I did, which is what I do nowadays. You know, I can't rely on other people to tell me what to do. You know, I can't listen to other people. I gotta do what I think is right, and that's what I do. You know, it might get me in trouble sometimes, like it did a little while ago. I don't regret it. I don't regret anything I did, except for 6 words I regret. I regret telling someone in the building that I was a little mad at them because that's what started this whole thing. So I guess that's one thing I kind of regret. And I probably shouldn't have been mad at the person at all because the person they got in an argument with has issues and loses his temper. You need to know how to handle him. But that's how the whole thing started. And honestly, I probably wasn't even mad at him. It wouldn't have made any difference because I always treated him with respect in the first place. You know, he was only here 6 months. I only talked to him a few times. You know, I believed everything he said, even though he had obvious issues. Didn't manage me. I had no reason not to believe him. But all right, well, back to my car battery. So yeah, battery went dead while I was in ECMC for a week. In 3 days, it got 70 watt hours of solar power, the 30-watt solar panel. So that's like 2 hours and so many minutes of full charge, which was kind of surprising. I would have thought it would have got more than that. Honestly, I thought it would have got fully charged, but didn't make it to the level of being fully charged. So I was bored tonight, and I figured I was just gonna bring it in and use my Noco battery repairer and battery charger. So I went out to the car and grabbed it and got it on charge and working on it overnight. And then I have two battery testers, electronic ones that can test the battery and tell you how many cold crank amps it is. So after I'm done, I'll test the battery. But I don't know how long of a future I have, so I don't plan on changing the battery. It's like over $200. It's a AGM higher capacity or a larger battery than what came in the car. Actually modified the battery tray so it fit in the car. And it's a dual terminal battery, so I can hook up my power amp to second positive terminal. So yeah, I got the battery on charge, and I figured, well, I always did some thinking about my case, and I figured I'd come on and do a live stream. Can't show you the battery, but well, I can actually show you the battery on my phone on the charge. It's not a bad idea, folks. I took a picture of it on charge, so I'm gonna put this up to the camera. There it is. It's on my chest freezer. Loco Genius 10, and it's on a repair cycle. When it's done, I don't know. I think I have to switch it to full charge, or I might just charge it up itself. But there it is. You can see the dual terminals. I've had it, I think, about 6 years. I got a really good deal on it at Sam's, but nowadays, wouldn't be able to get such a great deal. It'd be very expensive. So hopefully it'll keep going this winter. The summertime shouldn't be that bad. I don't drive it much, but like I said, I keep a solar panel on it. Although there hasn't been much sun except for the last 3 days we had sun. But probably went at least a week with no sun. Probably, at least I didn't see any sun from the hospital. I assume there wasn't any sun here. But there it is. So at least I can get it all charged up and check the capacity, see what kind of shape I'm in for a battery. The only problem is going to be, well, not really a problem, all the monitors, all the stuff on the computer have to reset. It's no big deal. But yeah, I made some comments about the people involved in getting me prosecuted. And what happened after the case when I filed the Freedom of Information Act request, and the chief told me there was no body cam video available. It's like, yeah, okay, I believe it. Sure, they're going to come in a building with all sorts of people with issues, and they're not going to have their body cams going. Okay, I absolutely believe you, chief. Yeah, you would never lie to a poor person living in subsidized housing. No, just like when your officers came here and after I was under order of protection, they told me I wasn't supposed to be in my apartment. Here I am, 68 years old, disabled, and they're telling me, oh, I'm not supposed to be living here. I'm too close to the victim, and the person the order of protection is supposed to be protected. So they told me I need to walk to the courthouse and talk to the judge. Okay, I have to walk. Well, I guess I should have asked these guys. Their ages probably didn't add up to how old I was. I guess I should have asked them, how come I can't drive? Is there a reason I can't drive? It's like, I'm charging a car battery out of my car. I've been driving a lot longer than they are old. Probably longer than both of them are old. And they're telling me I need to walk to the courthouse. It's like, oh, maybe they're assuming everybody in this place there's something wrong with everybody in this place and that they can't drive and can't afford cars. I don't know. I don't know what he thinks the parking lot's for with all the cars in it. I guess he thinks it's all management. There must be a lot of staff in this place that have cars. All I can say. Jeez. And then the part about talking to the judge, I can forgive him on that because they probably don't know a judge is not going to talk to a person that's been accused of something. The judge is only, if you're lucky, they'll talk to your lawyer. The odds of me talking to a judge are snowball's chance in hell. And that's just not going to happen. Judges aren't going to waste their time talking to, someone that was arrested for something. So, yeah, right. But maybe the cops don't know that. Maybe they're rookies. You know, maybe they didn't take police one. Well, it's not a matter of taking police 101. It's really a matter of common sense. I think they just don't know the whole system. They know their police part about going in line and arresting people and, you know, saying they don't have body cam video and stuff like that. You know, yeah. So I can forgive them on that point. You know, they're not gonna know that the judges ain't gonna waste their time talking to the people that were arrested. They'd have people talking to them all day long. You know, not only that, but they're not gonna do anything about order protection. Dude, MJ Peterson's like right next door, almost next door to the police department. The cops were on the phone for quite a while before they came in to try and set me up. They actually had to lie on the police report because, just being honest. I guess they wanted me to incriminate myself. And I'm sure if I incriminated myself, they, their body cams would have been on. You know how that works. They only want to admit they have body cam video if they have evidence to use against you. Just like the security camera video. You think they want to get security camera video that shows I was in the lobby at the time I was accused of leaving crazy notes? Yeah, right. Ask Detective Gregory Trotter about that. You know, ask, ask him about the security camera video. I'm sure if it showed me at the guy's door leaving a note, oh, we got security camera video on that. So, yeah, it comes down to MJ Peterson had a lot to do with this. I'm absolutely convinced. And I honestly believe the police were talking to MJ Peterson before they even came in. They were on their cell phone for a long time. It's like maybe there was some incriminating evidence against them on body cam video from outside. Maybe that's another reason not to say there's body cam video. Speaking of body cam video, read the newspaper article about the Amherst News releasing FOIL. I meant speaking about FOIL requests. Read the Buffalo News article about people requesting FOIL information from the Amherst police. It's like not going to happen unless you have a court order. And I wouldn't put it by Amherst to try and hide it from judges. Even a judge I have something to do with has admitted to that. It's like, so I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what they're going to do to me. I put these videos up in case they do something bad to me and I can't post any more videos. I also put them up just to try and expose corruption. The police get together with corporations to start working for corporations and lying and withholding evidence. It's not a good sign for the country, and take advantage of poor people to harass them or orders of protection, which seems to be a very common tactic in Amherst. Anytime they run someone, they check to see if there's any orders of protection against them. It's like, I can see reason for having orders of protection, but it just seems to be a very common harassment technique in Amherst. And believe me, they're using it on me. They pretty much use everything they can on me, throwing everything at me. And the more I post, the more they probably will. That's why I'm afraid to drive my car. It's like, who knows? I don't want to sound paranoid, but they could have, maybe they put a tracker on it. I think that's being a little paranoid. But I have been tempted to look under the car, like on TV where they put the trackers on the car. I have to admit I've been tempted because they did go through my car with their search warrant. And they did also turn my cameras around in my apartment, at least the ones in the living room. 3 cameras in my living room were all turned around, so they're useless, which put me at being insecure for a week. My apartment insecure for a week, and when I came home, now I'm missing a tool. I've been looking all day yesterday. I looked for a tool. I might look some more today. I'm kind of tired and frustrated, but I bought a brand new ratcheting tubing cutter. It's a package for because I had to work on the fuel lines on my car that were leaking before all this stuff happened recently. And I got it from Amazon, came the 25th, and now it's gone. Don't ask me where it was. It was right on my workbench. I've been looking at my cameras, see if someone else came in and got it. To be honest, it seems like the cops are that the search warrant on my apartment seemed like they were very honest. The one used my flashlight on my workbench because I know because there's a camera pointed at my workbench, so it shows what I'm doing on my computer all the time in case I'm being accused of doing something malicious. Well, I already was kind of accused of making malicious welfare calls for the guy that lied to get me arrested. I was already accused, so yes, I have a camera. I can probably. Well, I don't want to show it to you because if the cops see it, next time they'll turn that camera. But that camera caught the cop using my flashlight. I'll show you the flashlight. Here you go. Probably better than any of the flashlights they carry. Some of the cops carry some pretty crappy flashlights. I have some really nice flashlights. I don't know. Maybe I can use. Let me try and turn it on. Oh, wow. It's a bright sucker. The room's pretty bright right now because I have a really bright LED light over my workbench. And because I have a 150 watt LED bulb and the light back there. So the room's very bright. But if it wasn't for these extra lights, you could see how bright this flashlight was. So I don't mind. They use a flashlight. They put it back. I didn't notice any other flashlights or anything missing. The only thing I can't find is my tube and cutter. And I'm gonna keep looking. I'm hoping I find it. It was $35, and I really don't want to have to buy another one since I already spent the money on it. So I have no. I'm looking at other cameras. My other cameras weren't tampered with. Camera in my bathroom, which you see my toolbox. Bathrooms like that way. You can see the toolbox. That wasn't tampered with. The camera on my entrance door wasn't tampered with, so I can see who came and went from my apartment. But the only problem with that is it only records 2 weeks. There's no memory card in it, so I can't pull a memory card and go back more than 2 weeks. It only records 2 weeks to the cloud. But the camera that the cops didn't mess with, pointing at the workbench, did catch some activity that has memory card in it. That the videos from that camera go back quite a way. So I checked that. I didn't see any activity when there wasn't supposed to be. So it's like I'm not seeing anything suspicious as far as someone taking my tubing cutter. It's hard to believe someone would. But it's like I'm looking everywhere. I need to look under the workbench. I don't know where it is, but I hope I find it. I've been through this before where I've looked for something for a long time, so I'm kind of used to it. Kind of used to not blaming anybody. It's like I haven't had any issues with any of the superintendents in the building. Any of the ones we've had, they've trusted them all. I had no reason not to trust them. But, I'm just want to find this tubing cutter in case I have more fuel line problems. It's made for getting into close fit places like the fuel line is run up against the frame of my car. So I don't know where it is. I'm going to keep looking. Hopefully I find it. I'm going to keep looking at my cameras. But I wish they didn't mess with my cameras. Well, I can understand them having a reason to initially point them towards the wall in case someone else was watching. But, I live alone. No one else was watching. No one else was in the room watching the cameras. But I guess they would have a legal reason to do that. But the least they can do is put the cameras back in position so that my living room is secure for the week I was in the hospital. Like, but I was paranoid that I was going to be missing flashlights and stuff, but they seem to have been honest, you know, with honest with this, you know. So I'm not really sure what happened on 5/22/23. Why Officer No lied. I'm sure this was a pre-orchestrated what what he needed to do to try and have probable cause to take me in. Because one person's eyewitness account to me is not probable cause. I'm not a cop, but I mean, give me a break. Do you honestly think one person telling the cop something is probable cause for them to be doing what they did to me? Yeah, I don't think so, folks. So they needed something, and Officer No, I guess maybe that's part of police 101, how to set someone up so you have probable cause by making some kind of general statement that he made uh, about my statement, saying that I finally broke down. He said, I finally broke down and admitted I had multiple issues with this guy. It's like, I was honest with him, but obviously he wasn't honest in return. And it's like, you think he would give details, but when you're poor, honestly, you don't have any rights. You really don't. Without lawyers for every single thing, the cops just do whatever the hell they want to you, and you can't fight it. It's like trying to fight a order of protection. You can't do it on a lawyer. A lawyer probably wants $10,000. You're up against friggin' MJ Peterson and Amherst police. You know, you can't do that unless you have a lot of money. And then, do you really want to spend a lot of money defending yourself if you don't have that much money? Do you want to spend all your money on stuff like that? I don't know when I'm going to need a new car. My car is old. I might need a new car this winter. I thought most not worth fixing. But fortunately, I don't drive it that much. And like I said, now I'm afraid to drive it at all. The cops see my car, they'll probably just pull me over for anything they want and just make stuff up. That's the way it's going to work when you expose them. It's not going to stop me from exposing them. Go ahead, harass me as much as you want. That's just the way I am. You've been doing it for a year and a half now. Keep it up. But I do appreciate the fact they didn't steal my nice flashlights or anything else I know of. I haven't looked at all the videos yet. I'm too nervous to look at the videos. But they gave me a list of what they took. And if they took anything, I would think they would have taken some of my flashlights. I had some pretty expensive flashlights. Some nice Phoenix flashlights. This one, I think I have like 2 or 3 of them here. Oh, this is sulfur one. Not Phoenix, but it's really nice because it has a tail button for on off. And it has a button for brightness right there. I like it when they have separate buttons. See how bright this one is? That's bright. And what else do I have? Yep. I'm sure this is a Phoenix too. Yep, this is another Phoenix. Just like this guy right here. Same thing. Very nice Phoenix. They have really nice lithium batteries. 21700 batteries in them. I don't remember how to take the batteries out. They're right here. You can actually charge it with USB-C in the flashlight, or you can take the battery out and charge it. 5,000 milliamp hour, 21700 battery. Very nice battery for flashlights because it's not too big. Maintains compact flashlight. In fact, I wouldn't buy a flashlight with anything smaller than that battery. There's bigger batteries, but this thing's pretty big, and you can get really nice bright flashlights with those batteries. You don't really need anything. Any bigger. These things are very bright. They're also at least $100. In fact, one of the nurses at the hospital that I had, that's why I recommended him getting, is that Phoenix with the 21700 battery. I think it was $120 on Amazon. Figure for one flashlight, that's the best flashlight to have. But I actually have flashlights all over because I don't like walking around to get a flashlight. I like to have one within arm's reach, pretty much anywhere I'm lying or sitting. And I pretty much do. In fact, I had a whole bunch more flashlights, and I gave them to my friend Michael. I had one that was $350, super bright, but I didn't need it. I had one that wasn't bright enough. I actually have a couple that are really bright. So I figured, well, got so much stuff here. I was gonna give him some flashlights, and he can share them. Hopefully, he shares them with his brother. I already gave them some flashlights, but I'm a flashlight addict. So I just want it all around, so I don't have to reach for a light. They're all over in my bedroom too, in my toolbox, on my refrigerator. But so far, I haven't seen any missing. I mean, if they were going to steal something, they would take your flashlight. So, I give the Amherst police credit when I can, and definitely giving them credit because I was really worried about things being missing that they weren't supposed to take. But they seem to be really honest. And maybe I just had, I don't know, I think the cops that weren't honest, I don't know where they got their marching orders from, but I'm sure they got orders to do what they did, like Officer No that lied on the police report, and Detective Gregory Trotter that wouldn't get the security camera video. But they actually told me it was my lawyer's job to prove I was innocent. It's like, okay. Well, I guess that's what happens when you go from school resources officer to detective, which makes me wonder. Although I did ask the cops at the hospital about that, and they said, well, I guess he took the test. It's like, is that the only thing that qualifies you to be a detective? Take a test? Yeah, I hope not. Evidently, they didn't do a background check because, I don't know how long he was a detective for before he got arrested by the FBI, but after he was on my case, now he's on paid leave. Look him up, Officer Gregory Trotter. Arrested by the FBI, now on paid leave. I'm sure he has a really good lawyer. From what I read in the paper, he has a really good lawyer, and lawyers saying he was set up by the FBI. You like that, FBI? They're saying you set him up. I hope when I talk to you, you realize what he did to me and take advantage of it. Unlike the phone call I had the other day where you kind of spoke real fast and then hung up on me. I hope that means you just don't want to talk about it. But I don't think what he did to me is probably not important enough for the FBI. But I thought it could be used as a bargaining chip for him. You know what I mean? Maybe get him to plead guilty for one thing and let him off for withholding evidence on my case. But I do have a recording of him telling me it was my lawyer's job to prove I was innocent. I did have the legal right to record this conversation with him in the police station. So that was an interesting conversation too. I talked to him about the Brady law, I think it's called, but it's Brady something about time limits for cases to go to trial. And I asked him if he knew about it, and he said he didn't know anything about it. I don't know if he should know about that or not. But then his response was, uh, "Do I know what Miranda rights are?" Uh, let's see, Miranda rights. I think I've heard that before on TV, on cops and stuff. I think I've heard that on my police radio before. Oh, what's that mean, Detective Gregory Trotter? Does that mean I can't talk to you? I can't. Does that mean I can't give you any evidence at all? Evidence on who I think the suspect should be in defense evidence? Is that what that means? I don't have the right to do that? I thought that meant I have the right to speak with an attorney and right to remain silent until you know, and to be with an attorney. And I have the right to an attorney. I thought that meant, I didn't know that meant that can't I can't talk to you, can't give you any information. I guess I'm unclear. Maybe I need to watch some more cops programs and listen again to the Miranda rights. Maybe I need to do a Google search. I'm not really sure. But boy, you got me on that one, Detective. You have a nice holiday, I assume, now on paid vacation. I'm sure the police association's paying for your big bucks lawyer. I wish I had the same fringe benefit of having some big bucks lawyer defend me instead of some signed counsel lawyer that was a great guy, tried, did spend time, came here right away and started out great. But maybe I sent him too many emails and he kind of gave up on me. But I asked him to get the security camera video, but the signed counsel lawyers they can only do so much for you. But this guy honestly was a super nice guy, and he did initially try. He had great comments when he first came here, you know. So maybe it's my fault that I just sent him too much stuff, and the important stuff got lost. I you know, wouldn't tell anybody not to hire him. I don't know how he's an older guy. I don't know how much longer he's got to practice, but I appreciate him trying. But eventually, I I got a different lawyer. I kind of requested one, and then he requested to be dropped off the case. You know, I don't think he would have been able to get the video anyway. They can only do so much. When you're up against MJ Peterson and Amherst Police, how much can a lawyer do? A signed counsel lawyer, you know. I'm very impressed that he actually came here. I think maybe even twice, and spent a good amount of time here. He did try. You know, he had great investigative ideas. You know, I don't know. I just guess I overdid it with him, and I have a habit of doing that. It's like I did to my present lawyer, if I still have one. You know, it's just I don't know. It's just the way I am. My lawyer knows it's because I was an engineer. I think like an engineer, not like a lawyer. That's not always the best thing, but so yeah, I got another lawyer then. And then he was supposed to ask for a German, according to a handwriting analysis lady that I was trying to hire, even if I had to pay her myself. I was communicating with her. I signed an agreement with her. She told me it was her impression that he was going to go into court, ask for adjournment, and have her put on the case to analyze the handwriting. She was just coming back from being sick, so I couldn't get a hold of her for a while. She got hurt, and yeah, finally I started talking to her. So yeah, then I got to court with this big time DWI lawyer, or the second lawyer on my case, second assigned lawyer. Uh, Very busy DWI lawyer. I'm sure makes a fortune. And we go to court. And before I know it, he asked for a closed door meeting with the prosecutor and the judge. It's like, what's that all about? What's the closed door meeting all about? Why is he? What's he trying to hide from me? Well, didn't take long to find out. He came out and asked to be released from the case. Like, oh my god, I couldn't even believe it. When I first heard it, I didn't even think that's what he said. You know, but yeah, the judge released him from my case naturally, and then the judge told me, "Well, he was your second attorney. You get one more chance with an attorney, and if that doesn't work out, you have to pay for one yourself." That was Judge Klein. Initially, I had Judge Cara Biscaglia. She recused herself because she said that the got one of the claimants was the defendant in her court. So after a while, she recused herself and went over to the other Amherst judge, Judge Jeffrey Klein, who I guess is retiring this year. And Judge Cara Biscaglia is leaving Amherst and going to Erie County Family Court Judge, where she ran unopposed. So she will be starting her new job, I believe, on January 2nd. It's not like the president. It starts on the 20th. It's signed in on the 20th. Hers was on the 2nd. That's all I was wondering, so I asked them. So, yeah, after being told, I can have a sec. I got one more shot at a assigned counsel lawyer. I said, oh, enough of that crap. I can do a better job myself. The first lawyer, I give him tons of credit. He really did try his heart out. Unfortunately, he didn't get the video. He probably wouldn't be able to get it anyways. He can only do so much. But he spent time on my case, whereas the second lawyer, didn't do anything for me at all. They didn't even know who I was when I contacted them. It's like he was too busy making big bucks on DWI cases, whereas the old timer, first guy, I can't say enough about him. I guess initially I was kind of mad. That's why I asked for another lawyer, because I wasn't getting. And I knew there was security camera video of me, and no one got it. But I understand. I guess probably sent him too much stuff. Plus, the older guys, they're not into technology. Although he did say he forwarded me the police report over 2 months after I was put in jail. So he did do that, but you only have so much power. From what I understand, some of the signed lawyers, they don't even show up until your trial. They don't talk to you until right before your trial. And even someone told me a murder trial that happened before, like the lawyer, which is hard to believe. Like the lawyer is not going to talk to you or show up until your trial for a murder trial. Hard to believe, but I believe that most of them don't want to do hardly anything. And this first lawyer I had was talking to my friends here and trying to figure out a defense and stuff. So, very good guy, really was. I hope he's doing good. He's probably still practicing, but he's getting up there in age. DWI lawyer, yeah, they don't want to do anything. Any excuse they can to get dismissed so they can get back to making big bucks. I don't think they make all that much money when they're assigned counsel lawyers. I did some research on it. To me, it's a lot of money, but to them, it's peanuts. Especially a DWI lawyer. Certain fields, lawyers making a fortune. I think my friend just saw a lawyer. I think it was $400 an hour, and I don't think they get that paid that much from the county, being assigned counsel lawyer. So, but I told the court, I said, look, I'm representing myself, which is called pro se. That's why That's what I was going to do. I went. So finally, the trial date came up, and I told him I'm here by myself to represent myself. I had tons of evidence. I spent thousands of hours working and gathering evidence. The only thing I couldn't get was security camera video because they were intentionally withholding that from me. The manager's hands were tied behind her back from doing anything that would help me. I was specifically told that by the manager, building manager at the time. MJ Peterson actually sent some very slanderous material to HUD about me. So HUD was no help. HUD just believed everything they were told and didn't do you to help me, you know. So I ended up going to the trial, and the prosecutor told me they were going to dismiss the charges. Because from what I understand, it's a common excuse to use the excuse that the claimants decided not to pursue the case. I guess that's a safe way out. It puts them at less liability. I'm assuming for someone to go after them for like false arrest or false prosecution, whatever you can do. Because it's like saying they're not the ones that are dropping or dismissing the charges. The claimants are the ones that have decided to dismiss the charges. I think someone told me that was a common thing that happened, but it makes sense to me that that's what they did. They dismissed the charges, and the order of protection got dropped. I regained my Second Amendment right, which didn't do me any good right away because they're still holding on to my property. So after waiting a long time to get my property back, I got a judgment from the county, from Judge Barnese, who's the best judge I've ever met. Very honest judge. He wasn't playing any games with who's ever on the other side who was trying to hold on to my property. He didn't play any games with them at all. He asked them if there's any legal reason for them to hold on to my property. They said, "No, Your Honor." The judge said, "Give me back his property." So I got a judgment, which didn't do me any good for a while. I took it to the police station. They ignored it. I think they told me I would get it back in a week because it was during a holiday. So I forgot how long went by. It was like a month or two went by. I didn't get it back. Me and confused with the details. But and then I decided to have it served to the police station. And before I had it served, I emailed the judgment to the town attorney. And it cost me $85 to have it served. Well, when you know it, I get a call from Detective Walsh saying I can come pick up my property. And so I call the serving company and say, well, it appears like your serving worked because they called and said I can pick it up. Well, the serving company told me, we were honest with me and told me, well, we never served them the paperwork. We didn't get a chance. It wasn't served yet. I think they gave it out to a server. I'm sure they had like private servers. They gave it out to someone, but it never actually got served. So I'm crediting the town attorney for telling the police, you got to give him back his property. Otherwise, you're making us liable for a lawsuit from some pretty big foundations. And believe me, I was in contact with a big foundation that would have sued the crap out of them. But that ended up not being necessary because finally they let me pick it up. But I had to fight tooth and nail for everything I got, you know. But the Judge Barnese didn't play any games in Erie County Court. That's the best court I've ever been through. Very fair court. I would trust him with anything, you know. He seems like a great guy. So that's what happened. I got my property back, and now I'm not going to comment on the current stuff that's going on. I'm pretty much going through the same kind of thing maybe even worse than before because I just had enough the first time and couldn't take it anymore. So they keep putting enough pressure on me, you know, that's what happens. I end up protesting, getting in worse trouble that I was in before. But what are you going to do? That's what they do. They pressure people, and then people do that. It's called the way this country is built. People protest and stuff like that. We didn't just listen to the British. You know, we, that's the way a lot of things get changed through protest. You know, so that's what I did. But yeah, I think I'm about my limit. Been on for about 50 minutes now, so I don't know what else to say. No one's probably going to listen anyway, so why do I bother even talking? But at least I got my message across in the text part of this. So, well, the weather's supposed to get nice this week, and I'm going to work on my battery. So, uh, I don't know what's going to happen to me, but if something does happen to me, I hope everybody can have a happy holiday. Hopefully, you're not living in this building like this where MJ Peterson and Amherst cops can use one. I don't want to describe the person. One person that has probably over 100 fake welfare calls since this whole thing started. You know, hopefully you don't live around someone like that. If you do, be very careful. Don't use the 6 words I use and tell them I'm a little mad at you because you might end up in jail like me and going through hell. 5/22/23 went from being a picnic, dropping off some leftovers, bringing some cookies down for a guy that sits down and watches TV in the lobby every night, and seeing the police come, talking to this guy that lied to get me arrested. Next thing I know, the cops come in and take me in, and they basically took me to hell. Was what happened. That's why I've been living for the last year and a half, living in hell. It messed up my entire life. Can't do anything that I used to do. Can't enjoy anything like I used to because I'm always nervous about what's going to happen to me. So, but yeah, do the best you can. I know for some people, holidays are bad times because they get really depressed. There's a lot of suicides during the holidays. Is how depressed people get. I hope you have a pet or something to keep you company, or a person to keep you company, which is the best. So do the best you can, folks. And hopefully I'll talk to you again sometime. Have a good one. Bye.